everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for a Try a Chapter tag. So the theme for the Try a Chapter tag today is my shelf destruct list. So in January I made a video where I talked through a bunch of books that I want to at least try to read by January next year. If I don't at least try them by January next year, then I have to unhaul them. And I got a comment from Victoria, from What Victoria Read, on that video saying, why don't you do a Try a Chapter tag? And I thought that was a really, really great idea. I've wanted to do a Try a Chapter tag for a while and just kind of never really managed to fit it in or what have you. So that's what we're going to do today. I believe that it was originally created as a tag, so you would tag other people to do it. I don't actually know who created the tag. I will try and find out and link them below if I can. But it's a concept that I've seen a number of different booktubers do basically since I started BookTube. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So the basic idea behind this is that you get however many books and you read the first chapter or thereabouts and you try to decide whether or not you want to read the book. People approach this in a few different ways depending on the theme or the purpose to which they are doing the Try a Chapter. So like I said, this one is self-destruct themes, so I'm not necessarily going to immediately read any of the books that I decide that I am interested in, but it's a way to help me with that self-destruct list. So I'll read the first chapter or so of 4 books and I will decide which one I think is likely that I will actually want to read, and that's the one that I will then at some point read. I may end up, off of the back of this video, I may end up unhauling one or more of these books. I may end up deciding I'm really, really enjoying it and I want to read it now, or I may end up deciding that yes, it's a book I'm interested in, but you know, I'll read it at some point. I'm not really sure exactly how it's going to go, but it's to help me with this self-destruct list and to potentially help me find whether I want to read these books or not, whether they can just be unhauled, etc. So I'm going to go through now and show you what books I have, read the blurbs to you so we have each an idea of what they're about, what to expect. I probably will read more than the first chapter. I have had a bit of a look through these books and most of these books have reasonably short chapters. So I think that I'm going to read the first 20 pages or thereabouts, depending on, you know, the end of the actual chapter, so that I can get a bit more of an idea of whether it's something I'm interested in or what have you. Those of you who were on my sprints last night, so today is the 17th of March. Last night on the 16th of March, I was doing sprints and I was trying to film this tag then because I thought that it would be a really good time to do that. I could read the first 20 pages in each sprint and then have a break and have a chat with everyone, because I'm not the kind of reader that can literally go from one book to another. I need a bit of space in between, but I didn't quite manage it. So if you're on those sprints last night, you know why. But yeah, it just didn't happen. And I did read the first, I think, 2 or 3 chapters of one of the books. I didn't read anything else, but I don't really even know what I read. I was just really out of it last night. There's been a lot going on. Like I said, if you know, you know, but I was just so out of it that I just don't really know what it was I read. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just not staying in my head. So I'm going to reread the first 20 pages of that book. Today I'm not on sprints, so I won't be using the chats to break that up, but I do have a few different things that I need to do around the house, so I'll go and do some of those things around the house, have a little break, and then come back and read more. Alright, so the books are, the first one that I have read the first 20 pages of, but again, I'm going to reread, is The Poison Tree by Erin Kelly. So this is one that is on my shelf destruct list this year. However, it was actually on last year's as well. And I really like the sound of it, and I think it sounds really interesting, so I really wanted to give it a try, but I just didn't get to it last year. I've given myself an extra 6 months, so I've got until midway through June, or all of June, to decide to try. I just thought if I put it in this tag, then I'm much more likely to have some idea of whether or not I want to read it, and, you know, I'll have given it a try, whatever else happens. So I'll read the blurb of this one to you. I have given up so much and done so many terrible things already for the sake of my family that I can only keep going. I do not know what is going to happen to us. I am frightened, but I feel strong. I have the strength of a woman who has everything to lose. In the sweltering summer of 1997, straight-laced, straight-A student Karen met Bieber, a bohemian and impossibly glamorous aspiring actress. She was quickly drawn into Bieber's world, and for a while life was one long summer of love. But every summer must end. By the end of theirs, 2 people were dead, and now Karen's past has come back to haunt her. So yeah, I think this one sounds really interesting, but we'll see how we go. Next up, we have The Slap by Christos Tsiolkas, I believe is how you say the surname. I apologise if I have said that very wrong. So, let's read the back of this one. At a suburban barbecue, a man slaps a child who is not his own. This event has a shocking ricochet effect on a group of people, friends and relatives, who are all directly or indirectly influenced by the slap. In this remarkable novel, Christos Tsiolkas turns his unflinching and all-seeing eye onto that which connects us all, the modern family and domestic life in the 21st century. The slap is told from the points of view of 8 people who were present at the barbecue. The slap and its consequences force them all to question the way they live, their expectations and dreams, their beliefs and desires. What unfolds is a powerful, haunting novel about love, sex and marriage, parenting and children, and the fury and intensity, all the passions and conflicting loyalties that family can arouse. In its clear-eyed and forensic dissection of the ever-growing middle class and its aspirations and fears, The Slap is also a poignant, provocative novel about the nature of commitment and happiness, compromise and truth. So I think this sounds really interesting. Alright, next up we have The Skylark's Secret by Fiona Valpy. The truth about her family she needs to know, hidden in an unforgettable war story she needs to hear. Lock U, 1940. When gamekeeper's daughter Flora's remote highland village finds itself the base for the Royal Navy's Arctic convoys, life in her close-knit community changes forever. In defiance of his disapproving father, the laird's son falls in love with Flora, and as tensions build in their disrupted home, any chance of their happiness seems doomed. Decades later, Flora's daughter, singer Lexi Gordon, is forced to return to the village and to the tiny cottage where she grew up. Having long ago escaped to the bright lights of the West End, London still never truly felt like home. Now back with a daughter of her own, Lexi learns that her mother, and the hostile-seeming village itself, have long been hiding secrets that make her question everything she thought she knew. As she pieces together the fragments of her parents' story, Lexi discovers the courageous, devastating sacrifices made in her name. It's too late to rekindle her relationship with her mother, but can Lexi find it in her heart to forgive the past, to grieve for all that's lost, and finally find her place in the world? So this actually sounds very up my alley. They all sound really interesting and I'm intrigued to read all of them, but this one is the one that probably sounds the most like the sort of thing that I would enjoy, because I love those sweeping generational sagas, and especially where there's something, you know, in the past that is affecting your present or your grandchildren or whatever's present, but it's all a bit of a mystery. So that one does sound very promising. And then the final book is John Crow's Devil by Marlon James. Jamaica, 1957. On a day beginning with a bad omen, black vultures, known locally as John Crows, crash through the local church windows. A handsome and charismatic stranger drags the village preacher from his pulpit and takes over both church and congregation. Promising vengeance and damnation, he wastes no time delivering both, and in doing so, starts a power struggle that sets the village of Gibeah on a path to destruction. With languages taught as classic works by Cormac McCarthy and a richness reminiscent of early Toni Morrison, John Crow's Devil is a terrifying and moving novel about religious mania, redemption, sexual obsession, and the eternal struggle between the righteous and the wicked. So yeah, I think this one sounds really, really interesting as well. Marlon James is a Man Booker winning author, which is quite promising. So yeah, I'm feeling quite optimistic about all of these books. Unfortunately, I will say that I found this incredibly confusing last night, but again, I was pretty out of it. So I don't know whether or not that's the majority, but we will see. But yeah, I really like the sound of all of these books. You can't even see the others because this one's so big. I really like the sound of all of these books. So we'll see how Hello! So, it took a while to actually read the first chapter of this book because it turns out this first chapter was 50 pages long. So I thought they were all short, but obviously I didn't look properly at this one. Also, Peanut decided that I needed to snuggle her. And when you snuggle Peanut, you do not do anything else. So, how do I feel about this book? I don't know. I am intrigued about the premise. I am intrigued by how all the different people are going to react to what happened. The slap happens in the first chapter, and the setup for the type of situation it was and how it kind of came about was quite good, but the chapters are told from different people's perspectives, and the first chapter is from Hector's perspective, and Hector is the man whose house the slap occurs at. So him and his wife and their children are having a barbecue at their house, and they've invited a bunch of different people. So it's set up so that the child who gets slapped is quite spoilt and is behaving quite badly. Very young, 3 years old, but nonetheless behaving quite badly. But it's an adult who slaps him, and the reaction from the parents of the slapped child is very immediate and very anguished and upset, as you would imagine, because it's a full-bodied, like, slap across the face. And then they threaten to call the police, and yeah, it all kind of erupts from there. The next chapter, I think, is going to be, like, the next day or a couple of days later or something like that, and it's following a different person. I'd be vaguely interested to see if, so it's a different person who was present but not someone who was directly involved. I don't know, I haven't checked. Okay, I haven't really checked who perspective we've got all these books from, all these chapters from, so it'd be interesting to sort of see who we follow, whether we follow the parents of the child that got slapped to see what their kind of perspective is going to be. I can't tell. Anyway, so I am vaguely interested to see how this is all going to play out, but I really didn't like Hector. I don't know if, like, that's a good thing or not, so I think that it shows that the author is good at writing characters, because I had quite a strong reaction to the character, but I really don't like him. I don't like some of the, again, I don't know if it's supposed to be because it's from Hector's perspective and that's the kind of person Hector's supposed to be, but I didn't like some of the kind of implications that child rearing was more women's work, implications that, like, just judging other people and their choices as parents, and I didn't like the way that he was kind of thinking about his own role as a parent and his own children, and then also he's doing something when the book starts. It doesn't actually show you him doing it. He's like thinking about having done it and the situation he's in. He's doing something that is disgusting. He's well aware it's wrong, but he's doing it anyway. And I just, yeah. So I'm really unsure. Definitely not at Unhaul right now, but I'm not sure whether I feel like I want to necessarily come back to it. But yeah, I guess, like I said, we will see. So that's the first one. I'm going to go now, and I think I'm going to edit a video for tomorrow because I have not edited tomorrow's video yet. But yeah, it's 4 o'clock? 4:45, and I want to edit a video. I want to do the washing up. I want to cook. I feel like there's a lot of things I want to do. So I actually don't think I'm going to get any more reading done potentially today. So we might be doing the rest of this reading tomorrow. We will see. But I'll let you know. Next time you see me, I'll tell you. But anyway, yeah. I'll talk to you soon. Hello. So it's actually Sunday. I didn't end up doing anything for this triad chapter tag yesterday because I was completely exhausted, so I'm doing that today. So I ended up reading this morning The Poison Tree by Erin Kelly. So this is the book that I tried to read, ended up being the first 20 pages, first 2 chapters and the prologue on Thursday evening when I was sprinting, but I was way too out of it and I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. It was too confusing. I kind of thought that it was the book actually, but it was definitely me because I read it this morning and it wasn't that confusing. I'm intrigued. I definitely am interested to know what's going on, but I'm not like desperately wanting to read it. I put it down when I got to the 20 pages and didn't feel like I must continue. I think that it's a domestic type thriller, but I'm not sure if has been a death. Well, yeah, there's been a death, so I don't know if it's going to be a murder, but it's not your typical thriller mystery, murder mystery. Not so far anyway. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not putting this straight into the unhaul pile. I'm interested enough to consider continuing it, but I'm not super keen. But then it's only been 20 pages, so it is kind of difficult to tell. But yeah, so that was The Poison Tree. The next one I think I'm going to read is the Crow one, and then yeah, I'll update you after that, and then I'll update you once I read the other one. I'll let you know what I decide. But anyway, that's my update for The Poison Tree. Hi, so it's 2:20 on Sunday afternoon, and I read the first 24 pages of John Crow's Devil by Marlon James. I don't think I'll be reading this book. I think I'll be unhauling it. I feel like it potentially would be interesting, but I don't feel like I'm meshed. I mean, I only read the first 24 pages, so it's hard to know, but it's only 230 pages long, 20 pages long. So, you know, kind of has to get going quite quickly when it's reasonably short. And I just feel like I don't know what it was about the writing style, but I just couldn't mesh with it. I just couldn't really get my head around what was happening and the way that things were being told, which is a shame because he did have some really beautiful ways of expressing things. So, for example, a murder of crows came first. Hundreds. From no point of origin, they blackened the sun, forming a shifty eclipse that descended on Gibeah. The birds flew up the road in a parade of darkness, their wings cutting through the wind and scaring even the smallest children. I just thought that was really lovely, but yeah, I don't know. The rest of the writing style, and it doesn't entirely feel like it's referring to what's happening. I don't think I'm going to be able to understand what's going on and really get anything out of this, to be honest. So it's going to go, definitely. And the next book is the Skylark's Secret. So I'm going to read that. Hello. So I just read the first 24 pages, which is the first 3 chapters of the Skylark's Secret by Fiona Valpy. This is definitely the most successful of the 4. I really enjoyed these first 4 pages. I'm very intrigued to find out what's going on and what's going to be the story. So I'm definitely reading this one. I don't know if I'll read it now, but I'm definitely going to read this one. So that one's a definite stay and read. I've had a bit more of a think about it. I've decided not to keep or read this one, The Slap by Christos Tsiolkas. I was tempted to read the next chapter and just see whether it was just that I didn't like Hector, who was the first chapter, was from his perspective. I may still do that. I don't know, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy this one. I think it's just going to make me really angry. So I don't think it's probably the book for me. I've heard really good things about it though, so I'm kind of intrigued to read it, but it's chunky. It's 482 pages long, and I don't know if I want to read a book that's going to make me angry for 480 pages. Yeah, so this one's probably a no, but I'm not 100% sure. This one's definitely a no. I just don't think I'm going to get along with it. I couldn't really, something about the writing style just really, yeah, turned me off. That is Rowan doing some woodwork, so apologies, but yeah, really turned me off, this one. So that one's definitely not being kept. And then I think I'll keep the poison tree, which is currently in the room that Rowan's in, making all that noise. And he was behind the door on a chair when I tried to go in earlier, so I don't think I'll risk it. But I think I'm going to keep that one because I was quite interested in that one as well. The first 20 pages, 24 pages I think as well. I found quite interesting. Not as interesting as this one. This one's definitely the one that I think I'm going to enjoy the most. But yeah, so this one's a keeper. Poison tree I think I'll keep. This one's going, and I think this one's going. I think realistically I'm not going to read it, so yeah. So 2 to keep and 2 to go. I think that's a fairly successful little tag, little try a chapter experience. So yeah, that's everything from me for this video. Please comment down below if you have done anything like this, try a chapter of anything. Let me know so I can go and have a look. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about today and what you thought of them. Let me know if there are any books that you aren't certain of and that you might do something similar, so you can decide whether you want to read them or not. And any other comments that you want to make, anything else you want to tell me, please leave all that down in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a question mark emoji, because I was questioning what I wanted to do. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.